studio today, and I've missed you all. And, let's go ahead and get into it. Cleveland Kate cannot be here today, but guess what? I got a treat for you. I have Willie and I have Marshawn. They're going to be joining us in 1 second. So they're going to be talking about some sports with us. But right now, the hottest team in the city is the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we're going to talk about them too. Now, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention because a lot of people gave up on this team since LeBron was here. And they haven't been watching the team. They haven't been supporting the team. But granted, the team wasn't the best and they weren't great. But that's okay because guess what? Now you have a new team and it's going to be amazing. One player who has been kind of, giving us some issues, has came around because things weren't to his liking last season and the season before. But hey, you were playing with some young players, you were playing with a young core, and now you are playing with a core that has matured. They're playing positively. The chemistry is amazing. You're playing with an all-star, just in case you missed it. Darius Garland was given all-star honors. So Kevin Love, it would have been great to see him, be able to do something for All-Star because the way that he's playing. But, maybe he can be a sixth man or something like that. But one of the things that didn't happen was Jared Allen was not picked for the All-Star game. But that's okay too, because we know what he means to us, and he might not be a selected at All-Star, but he is our All-Star. So we're happy for the play that he's doing. And yesterday, these Cavs were down by over 20 points. Well, we'll talk about the game, and then we're going to talk about the big move that was made. The Cavs were down by over 20 points at one time. It was ugly. It was ugly. They couldn't hit anything with a brick. They couldn't hit a barn with basketball or whatever that expression is, but they couldn't do anything. And eventually they woke up, they snapped out of it because there's a game to play, and they got to playing. So we're like, welcome back, Cavs. But one of the things that happened was JB Bickerstaff told them during halftime, we're a better team than this, because they were slowly chipping away and getting the lead back. And Bickerstaff said that we are better than this and we're not going to play like this. And they turned it around and they came from behind and they were able to win that game against the Indiana Pacers. What was the final score of that game? The final score was 95-85 after being down 20 points. But one of the things is the Indiana Pacers are not a good team. Dwayne Washington is awesome, Ohio State, but they're not really a good team. Lance Stevenson even got in there and was showing that he still got something left in the tank. Lance Stevenson got in there, but it was pretty awesome to watch. And you can just see what this team can do because they can believe in each other. They play together. They play for one another. And it was just kind of amazing to see because I just was kind of like, man, we about to lose this game. This is one of the games we're going to lose. We came back from behind and was able to beat Charlotte by 1 point when we were on the road Friday. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going to happen. Hey, Willie.
What's happening, Cleveland?
What's up? How you doing, sir?
Long time no see. I'm doing good.
Oh, welcome. So happy to be back together.
Indeed. Glad to see your smiling face. And I gotta find something that's funny to you to make you laugh because my wife. Look, I was listening to the show on Sunday. The show that we do, the Shake Back Sports Show. And my wife said, "What is that?" I said, "That's Rachel laughing."
Why did she say I laugh? Because I've been told I cackle, and I hate hearing that I cackle. I'm like, I do not cackle.
Well, not too many women like to be heard or like to hear that they're cacklers. That is not that's a very negative term indeed. I just said I like the way she laughs.
Yeah. I wasn't cackling, was I?
No, not a cackler. You're a laugher, a hearty laugher.
Yeah, I love to laugh. Laughing is fun. It's a cure for me. So,
Indeed.
Willie,
What's
what
up?
are your thoughts? Because I didn't get a chance to talk about the Levert move just yet. I said I was going to talk a little bit about the game yesterday. But what are your thoughts and opinions regarding the Cavs so far?
Well, if you're asking me about the Karis LeVert trade, um, the
In a
Cavaliers,
roundabout way, I was.
yeah, the Cavaliers have just gone from not being a team that could get into the playoffs and maybe win a series. They have gone to a team that can make some noise in the Eastern Conference. They have gone to now they are a team that can actually challenge the likes of Philadelphia and New Jersey. Or I'm sorry, Brooklyn and Miami and Chicago. Karis LeVert comes in averaging a little less than 19 a game. And from every conversation that we've had, you, Marshawn, and myself, when it comes to talking about the Cavs and roster upgrades or whatnot, this dude was always, and this dude, of course, is Marshawn, is always begging for a wing scorer. And looky what happened. Y'all got one. Y'all are putting yourselves in position to not only, like I said, make the playoffs, but make a deep run in the Eastern Conference. There's a very good chance that this team will go to the playoffs while LeBron James does not even make it into the tournament. Very good chance of that. Now, how would that?
Regardless, they have 4.
I think he's looking at his team, salivating, and probably wants to be back here right now because the way the Lakers are playing, like you said, they might not even make the championships. Not the big, but the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Styles back here salivating right now because we're talking Cleveland Cavaliers. He said we always dog the Cavaliers. I'm like, no, we don't. We talk about the Cavaliers. So I don't know what Chris be talking about.
I don't know. I don't either. But what I can tell you is this: if this Cavaliers team not only make the playoffs but go on a decent run in the Eastern Conference, and the LeBron James led Lakers don't even get in, what is that going to say for LeBron's legacy? No. Because he's got 2 Hall of Famers on the squad with him. Really 3 when you count him. It's 4 of them total when you count him, Carmelo, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. Those are 4 Hall of Famers, surefire Hall of Famers. And that team won't be able to get into the playoffs. But the Cavs, who are really young and upstart and really don't know any better per se, will be in the playoffs and make a deeper run. What I think that LeBron James's legacy will take a hit if that were to take place.
Chris Styles disagrees with you.
I don't care what Chris Styles said. He don't care.
They won't do anything.
I think it will say something kind of about his tenure in LA, how it might end, Chris. I think
I'm gonna tell y'all why. The debate of the GOAT between LeBron and Michael, not that it's really a debate to me, but it will be shut up forever. If that dude does not make the playoffs with those dudes on his roster, there's no debate on who's GOAT. And as a matter of fact, LeBron James will not win another NBA Finals again the rest of his life.
That's something I was going to say to Chris too.
I agree with that.
But I want him to win more rings. But at this point, it's looking like he might not. So tell us what's wrong, Willie. You're Lakers fans. Tell us what's wrong with the Lakers.
They can't shoot and they can't play defense. And when you can't shoot and you can't play D, you're gonna lose.
Wasn't there one person in particular can't shoot? Rhymes with Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook, because the way he shoots is ridiculous. I mean, you are a 12-year NBA man. You've won an MVP. You've averaged triple doubles for 3 of the last 4 years or whatever it is. And you mean to tell me you can't go out there during the summer and work on a jumper? You got everything else, dude, but you don't have a jumper, even if it's just a mid-range jumper, because you can still get by anybody that's in front of you. We see that every night.
How has he made it in a league this long without a jumper?
Because he's the most athletic point guard that this league has ever seen. He's the most, and now he can't shoot
because he's a scorer.
But he can score. Exactly. He can score, but he just can't shoot. So he's going to go to get 28 points. He's going to go 4 for 70 with 15 3. I don't know, something crazy like that. But he's got to be a volume shooter in order to get to those points. And as you get later in your career, number one, your athleticism is going to start dwindling. Without a shot,
so you have to become a better shooter.
You will have to become a better shooter, but he has shown no signs of that. Not only that, Rachel, when you are getting longer in the tooth like he is, your turnover rate can't go up. It has to go down. You have to become a smarter player. So the game has changed a little bit from when he was in his prime, but not that much. But what hasn't changed is him.
Yeah, you would think that the Lakers would be better than they are, but right now the Cleveland Cavaliers is a team that everybody's talking about, and they just keep winning and winning. And Kevin Love, I can't speak enough about him. Kevin Love has been.
Wait. Y'all dogged Kevin Love last year, man.
Because Kevin Love had the worst attitude, and he wasn't a team player. And he was mad unnecessarily. So the things that he's doing this year, as far as team chemistry, being a great teammate, having it all together, he should have been doing those things last year with this same young core, and he wasn't doing that. So he deserves to be got on.
Oh, okay.
That's why nobody had any love for Kevin Love.
Hands up. Hands up, man. Don't shoot.
All right. Look, Marshawn Powers has joined us. Marshawn, you said it over and over again how you wanted a wing player, Karis LeVert. Now we're going to go to commercial right quick. We got to take a break really quick, but I want you to talk about that when we come back.
All right. I'm here. All right, I hear.
All right, you're listening to Her and Low on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
Get the most out of your tax refund this year.
Thank you. What was you saying?
By training to become a volunteer tax preparer. No experience is needed.
We were going back to that.
Like how volunteers receive free
Hey, why you slandering my Lakers over there?
I usually not. What do you like?
Sponsorships are flexible. Refreshments are provided throughout the day, and precautions are being taken to protect the health of our volunteers and clients. Tax preparers will work directly with taxpayers to help prepare and e-file tax returns. And all returns are reviewed to ensure quality and accuracy before being submitted. Because no one likes to be hunted down by the IRS. And greeters and intake specialists will welcome clients to the tax site and complete their initial intake interview. The interview will identify the scope of the tax return and ensure that the client has all the necessary documents and paperwork ready for the tax filing process. If you are interested in volunteering as a tax preparer, greet please contact Lewis at 216-973-5183. Again, that's 216-973-5183. This message is brought to you by Third Federal, Huntington Bank, Dollar Bank, U.S. Bank, Ohio Savings Bank, Cuyahoga County Family Services, Bank of America, Cleveland Neighborhood Progress, IRS, Citizens Bank, Fifth Third Bank.
Go ahead.
All right, welcome back to Her and Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We are back. I am here, and no Cleveland cake today, but I got Mr. Willie Epstein Jr. and Marshawn Powers here with me today, and so excited to see them, so excited to be back and doing the show. So welcome back, fellas. We are back together again. Now, Marshawn, I asked you to hold that thought. Now, I will admit, you have been on Karis LeVert from the very beginning. And you talked about how the Cavs needed a player like him, how they needed a wing like him, and how does it make you feel that Kobe went out and got the exact player you have been talking about?
I think it's huge. First of all, I mean, the Cavs needed wing scoring bad. You see, I mean, the past few games, they lost to Houston, they lost to. It was one other game where they almost lost. It was the game against
the Hornets,
Charlotte. No, the game against Charlotte where they almost lost that game. But it was shown that how this league is a guard driven league, and no matter how many tall players the Cavs got, no matter how good Jared Allen is and Mobley from getting to the block, you still needed guys that can knock down the three ball and can create for their own and can create from their own, on the perimeter. And with the addition of Karis LeVert, I feel like that was a huge addition. I didn't know. I thought the Cavs was going to eventually, plummet if they didn't get another guard out there. But, I think that was a huge addition because now you could probably put LeVert in as like your 2 or your 3, depending on how you want to line up and, really, match teams up size for size now because you got a 6'1", 6'2" point guard, however you want to frame them. And you got 2 6'6" wing players and 2 6'10" big men out there. So that's a pretty tall lineup for what the Cavs are really looking to do. And I think that with this lineup, if everything goes right, and you got the rumors of Colin Sexton potentially coming back if they make the playoffs. I didn't believe it at first. I kept doubting him. I kept slandering him. I'll say it, but now with the way the roster shaped out, this is what I wanted to see from the Cavs. And I could say now that they have my respect now. They have a team that can actually be feared. A team that I don't think teams are just gonna lay down and disrespect them now with this lineup that they have.
One of the things that you saw with this trade, they didn't really give up much for anything. Ricky Rubio, try saying that 8 times, is he had an expiring contract that they got rid of. They got rid of a pick in like 2027 that's like protected by Utah. They gave up another pick that was protected by somebody else, and so they gave up 3 picks in Ricky Rubio's expiring contract. So literally they gave up nothing. But by this move, you saw that Kobe Altman is all in, and he believes that this team could actually contend and come out of the Eastern Conference because it's actually falling apart right now, and they can make a push.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. And Rachel, you, Willie, you guys know, I'm more on the realistic side of things. I think the Cavs will probably make second, third round at max. But coming out the East, I still feel like, Brooklyn's falling apart, Milwaukee, whatever, but I still feel like those are the 2 teams that people fear. I think with KD coming back and all like that, I still think Brooklyn and Milwaukee, in my opinion, are the 2 top dog teams. So if the Cavs can knock them off in a 7-game series, that'd be surprising. But I think right now, the Cavs' focus should be trying to knock off Chicago, Miami, Boston, all of those teams. I think those teams are in the Cavs' way of that team. I hear my guy Chris Styles over there talking about the NFC. It's not about seeds. If you look at seeds right now, teams are separated by a game and a half to the number 1 seed, and they're separated by a game and a half to being in the playoffs. To being in the play-in. So you really can't say, oh, this team's in this seed and this team is in this seed, because I think in the East, anybody can get. It's been seen. Anybody can get knocked off at any night. That's how I feel like it. Even though Detroit is bad, Detroit knocked off the Cavs. I think any team in the East right now.
Coming off of a road trip. I'll let them have that loss.
But let me ask y'all about the Nets, though, because I think the Nets are in trouble. Even when those dudes are all together, they're still in trouble. If Kyrie does not get the vaccine, them dudes might be trying to get one of those lower seeds on purpose so they can have a game 7 away from New York City. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
But let me ask y'all about this, though, because each year, each one of these cats is getting older. Okay. Kevin Durant has this MCL strain. He's going to be out for another 4 weeks, I believe. And he's already had a major injury, a major lower leg injury for that matter. Those dudes this year, as of February the 7th, have played a combined 32 minutes together. 32 minutes, and we're into almost the middle of February. And Durant's going to be out for another 4 weeks. So, yeah, they might be the greatest three-piece collection of individual talent ever assembled on one team. I'm not sold. I'm not sold at all. They got a lot of work to do. And really, the other teams that are surrounding them have gotten better. The Cavs have just gotten better. Philadelphia is good. Miami is good. Chicago is better. So, in Milwaukee is the champs, and we don't even talk about them in the realm of champions like we should. But they're still the champs. So I'm look, everybody saying, well, yeah, they're healthy, they're gonna easily come out of the East. Based on what? What are you basing that on?
Best player in the world.
No.
Individually. But when they play together for long stretches, something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get hurt. It's gonna happen. It is through no fault of theirs, I don't suppose, but still. What have they given us? What have they shown us on the court, all three of them together for a sustained period of time to say, you know what? That team is going to get out of the Eastern Conference. I don't care about what they are individually. I know that counts, but does it matter as much as it counts? I'm not sold, dude. And that may be the hatred that I have for superstars coming together like this just to try to win a championship, James Harden.
And Marshawn, you know, when the Milwaukee came here, the Cavs handled that too. Giannis struggled against, you know, Markkanen. He struggled against Evan and Jared. Like, those bigs gave him some problems. So I feel like, you know, they can contain him. And when he came here just 2 weeks ago, they handled that. I mean, I know it's different, you know, in a series with everything on the line, but the Cavs easily dispatched them. And yeah, they beat them in Milwaukee, which they hadn't won in Milwaukee in about 8 seasons. And Giannis wasn't playing in that game. But the Cavs are a formidable opponent for both Milwaukee and Brooklyn.
I mean,
they played them close in Brooklyn too.
Anybody could beat anybody. But if I was to bet my money on sports betting, I was to go up to Detroit tomorrow and put my dollars on a 7-game series between the Cavs and Milwaukee or the Cavs and Brooklyn. I wouldn't dare right now. We still haven't seen what Karis LeVert looks like, you know, with the Cavs. We still haven't seen, you know, what this team looks like in the back series of a season. I mean, the back end of a season where a lot of teams like Atlanta, you know, New York, Boston, a few others are going to try to make those last playoff pushes. You know, I mean, like I say, there's still I made kind of a checklist for the Cavs, and there's still certain things that they have to pass, in my opinion, my eyes, from my views as a fan, and as somebody who watches it on a different level, to know that they could contend with Milwaukee and Brooklyn, things of those natures. Because if you was to say 80% of a KD in a 7-game series against the Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm betting the house on 80% of KD.
Hey.
If you gave me 100% of Giannis, the reigning Finals MVP in a 7-game series against the Cavs, I'm betting my house on Giannis.
The Nets might be in the playing game.
Possibly. The way they playing right now, possibly.
And the Bucks only a game ahead of us, so.
Well, whatever.
I mean, that's not to say that the Cavs have a bad team. I mean, I like. There's a lot of pieces to this team I like. I like the guy Brandon Goodwin, who came out of nowhere and stepped up as, in my eyes, the backup point guard to Garland, because Rondo is kind of on I don't even want to say a part-time basis. Rondo is like, he plays a couple minutes and then he's out for 5 games. So, I still feel like they need a backup center. I think that's really the only thing left that I would get, because I'm not putting Mobley out there in the backup center moments against those bigger guys. You asking him to get hurt until he gets a little bit more weight on him.
Why not?
I mean,
he can play center.
He can play center in today's NBA.
Okay. The physicality of it, I seen him play center one game. In my opinion, I've only seen him play one time. I mean, a few times. I haven't seen the whole season. I don't really watch the Cavs every day. But I've seen the one time that I did see him play center, he got hurt.
There it is.
He don't got no handles really, but he can work on that. I mean, he put a little bit of weight on. He'll be okay.
Check. I want to interject. Have y'all guys ever watched the Cavs games?
I watch every game.
Yes, I watch.
It don't sound like you gotta watch games. 45% of the Cavs games this year. Yo, this is one of the most unselfish sided teams in the league right now. Because they're so unselfish.
That's true. Talk. I agree.
So, teams right now want no smoke with the Cavs right now. They really go in there and play like, yo, this is a really tough team. Nobody wants to see them in the first round.
Or the second. Maybe the third.
Okay. Chris Styles, maybe we could put. We'll do Shannon Sharp. We can put a do on it or something.
No, just watch the games, man.
What's a do?
I can't believe you said Nets. The Nets only gonna have Kyrie 20% in the season.
Huh?
The Nets are only gonna have Kyrie 20% of the season.
I think that'll change, man. I honestly think that'll change. I mean, in my opinion, Kyrie played in Golden State. Here's the thing. I think they're picking and choosing when they want to use this thing, because for a long time ago, I thought that if Kyrie weren't allowed to play in Golden State, California, period, because he's not vaccinated,
New York.
And he played in Golden State. He played a couple Saturdays ago against Golden State. So I think it'll eventually change in
New York.
I think it'll eventually change.
It's not.
Is he gonna get the vaccination? Because that's
I don't know. I can't speak for Kyrie. I personally can't speak for Kyrie.
I mean, but obviously I know that. What I'm asking is, realistically, do you think he's going to get the vaccination? Because that mandate's not going to change. Now, the only thing that's going to change, the only change to what happened to change that is the Brooklyn Nets selling their soul more so than they have already done.
There it is.
And on that,
I'll go with the latter.
Break. Hold that thought, Marshawn. We'll be right back. You're listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM.
This will be a virtual event hosted by Fox 8's Kenny Crumpton and Jasmine Bailey. Featured artist Tina Farmer. For more information, you can go to www.strengtheningourstudents.com.
And then I just made an expo one.
www.strengtheningourstudents.com. Soup for the Soul.
You talking about Super Bowl?
Popeye's Chicken. Dominion Energy.
Yeah, I was going to wait more till Wednesday, but I got it.
AKA team.
Talk about it a little bit.
The Hilton Garden Inn. Fortina Associates of Cleveland.
I know we're about to talk about
strengthening our students.
Yo, yeah, jump into that. I love to hear Willie. I want to hear Willie explanation now. Willie got good. He had good explanation of things.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with my guest co-host, Mr. Marshawn Powers and Mr. Willie Epteen Jr. We are here after a long break. We are excited to be here talking sports, doing what we do. So, Marshawn, go ahead and finish on your point regarding the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh no, I was just saying that pretty much. You know, I'm excited to see what the Cavs do, but at the end of the day, I think we should just temper our expectations a little bit. The whole
I'm not
champions, hey, hey, and this was what
so
happened.
I'm gonna be upset then if we don't make it, but I'm not tempering my expectations. I'm excited. I'm on this ride right now.
Here's the typical Cleveland fan for you. They get their expectations up through the roof, like extremely over their head. You see where my hand is, Rachel? Yeah. And then when those expectations aren't met, they get so angry at the team and start blaming everything instead of just saying, "Well, it was a fun ride."
Or you can be a rational fan and realize, you know, where this team is at. It's a very young team, you know, with some veterans on there, but recognize they're very young. And these are some of the things that they have to deal with. Chris Downs told me I couldn't talk about a certain player, but it was a slow buildup for him to get to the playoffs. It didn't happen automatically, even though he was the best player in the league. It takes time and it's a process. So I understand
what number is this player?
And maybe we're just not there yet.
What number is this certain player that you can't talk about?
They were a couple numbers, but one was 24 minus 1.
Okay.
And 7 minus 1.
Why we can't talk about the king?
Well, she said,
no, I said I'm talking about the Lakers since we're in Cleveland.
Hey, one thing Chris Styles got to understand: wherever LeBron go, the city of Cleveland go. They not just the Los Angeles Lakers. That's the Cleveland Lakers. That's the Cleveland Lakers.
No, it's not. Those are whack fans. Y'all wanted these. Nah.
Oh, I was a Lakers fan before LeBron came. I just accepted him on the squad. So. Hey, it is what it is. Talk about them.
Cavs are winning. Talk about the Cavs.
All right. So moving on, you guys, we got to talk about this Brian Flores situation. And as we can see, the 49ers, not the 49ers, excuse me, but the Saints just named a new head coach, and he is not of color. I believe Eric Bieniemy also interviewed for that as well. So the Brian Flores, for those who are not aware of the situation, he has sued the NFL for discrimination in their hiring practices and things of that ilk. Right now, we have one head coach of color. There was recently a hiring, the Miami's new head coach of Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, who identifies as multiracial. And does that count when he is white presenting?
Yeah, it counts.
Okay, you counting that, Willie? Marshawn,
yeah,
what are your thoughts about that?
Yes, I think that counts. I would say it counts.
I mean, his dad is black.
Okay, and his mom is
white. Not black. I don't know. That's why I don't understand the multiracial part of it.
He looks like you know who he looks like.
He looks
all right. He looks like Logic. He looks like Logic with curly hair.
Who's Logic?
He's a rap artist from the DC area. He looks just like him.
Okay. Y'all know.
So no, he gets a pass. He gets a pass.
Yeah. His dad is black, so I mean, what he chooses to identify as really is not relevant in terms of what is he really. You know, what does Pat Mahomes identify as?
Black.
Probably white.
No, he identifies.
He identifies as black,
but his mom is white. You know, so either way, let me pose something to y'all. Or actually, I got a quick question first. Marshawn, when are you and I gonna stop being considered as guest co-hosts? When are we gonna really become family on this show? I thought we were family. She keep calling us guest co-hosts. What's up with that?
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to have an we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, we have to talk about that offline.
I feel like I can go in your refrigerator anytime I want to.
Well, one visit to
Hey
my
Willie, no,
house
this what we gonna do, Willie.
that.
We gonna call Willie. This what I'm gonna do. Willie. I'm gonna call her at 4:00 in the morning and really figure out and catch her on the early side and figure this
4
out.
o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna be asleep.
Yeah.
I'll be in the bed before 11 o'clock.
I'm gonna call you like it's an emergency. I'm gonna just call you like it's an emergency, like Rachel. And I'm gonna just be like, Rachel, when are you gonna let us stop being guest co-hosts?
Right. But here's my other question too, guys. I mean, my other statement. Lovie Smith got the job in Houston. Hopefully for Houston, they won't make that a stopgap like they did with David Culley.
Oh, when did they announce that?
That was announced on Monday. Yeah, today.
Okay.
So now there are 3 African American. Well, there are 3 head coaches of color. And if you want to say, because they try to say that Robert Saleh from New York is a minority, but is he really? I don't know.
Yeah, he's
is he Israeli?
Yeah, something like I think he's like Israeli. I know he's Muslim, but I don't know what part.
Yeah, but that don't really make a difference. But what I'm saying is this: in 2006, there were 2 head coaches in the Super Bowl. Both of them were black. Lovie Smith, Tony Dungy. That was 3 years after the implementation of the Rooney Rule. 16 years after that, at the end of the NFL season, there were more black head coaches in one game than there were in the entire league. Take that for data, like David Fisdale said.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that Lovie Smith was named. Just hopefully he has an opportunity to turn that franchise around, because we know it's one of the worst in football. We talked about this. So, David Culley was set up with that job and not given any time, given 1 year. That's not enough to have any type of success. So hopefully Lovie Smith will be given time instead of the 2.5 years that black head coaches are normally given in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lovie will get some time, because looking at the roster that he already preset, you're gonna have Pep Hamilton as your offensive coordinator, and I think Pep's a really good OC. If I'm not mistaken, he's gonna have Gerard Mayo as his defensive coordinator. So I mean, and then they got in my opinion, they have a semi decent roster, fairly semi decent, semi decent. They got some pieces. They got some pieces. You can't say that. They got a pretty good left tackle. They got a couple fairly decent receivers. Say what you want, but you had 1,000-yard receiver on your team. My team didn't even have one.
What was the highest that David had? What did he even
600.
Have? Okay,
600.
I
think Lovie will get it turned around. One thing I've seen, Lovie, Chicago's highlight years were around with Lovie Smith. He took them to the Super Bowl, things of that nature. So I think with the given time, I think it's going to be the AFC South is going to be an interesting division to watch, with the hires that just happened a few days ago with the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. I know that's not on the topic, but I'm excited to see what Lovie is going to do in that conference.
They just need to give him the opportunity.
All right, and let me ask you this. I know this is off topic, but this is a good question. If you Lovie Smith, black head coach, do you go have a seat? Do you go have a sit down with Deshaun Watson and convince him to stay in Houston?
Absolutely.
Yes, that's without question. Yeah, you have to.
I would do it. I know I would do it. And then in that case, all you doing is putting weapons around him. Sorry, Davis Mills, but it ain't Deshaun Watson.
Or you can do it a solid and trade him if the ownership never wants to allow him to play again. You can do a solid and trade him.
Yeah.
To a situation that makes, that's going to be worthwhile for him. As the Cleveland Browns did with Odell, I believe in, good karma, and maybe Texan will trade Deshaun Watson to Cleveland Browns.
I don't think
somebody a solid.
I don't think the Browns ideally wanted Odell to go to the LA Rams. I don't think if you was to sit down and ask the Browns today, hey, when you released Odell, did you have the intentions on releasing him with the thoughts of going to the Rams? I'm pretty sure they.
Yeah, they did.
No, I don't think that.
Yeah, I think they knew he was going to the Rams.
Really?
How would they have known that? That's tampering.
I think Odell told them.
No, he can't do that. He can't say release me because I'm going to the Rams. The Browns would never. They would have never done that. They would have been like, no. They would have probably made it where like they shut him down for the season or something before they just allowed him to just go to a team that essentially is better than them.
They would have given him the TO treatment when he was in Philly.
Yeah.
I think they knew he was going to go there.
I would. Almost cursed. That's
as if the NFL care about tampering and all that other stuff. Woohoo, you pay a little fine and that's that.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the character of the NFL unravel in front of our eyes multiple times. So it's like whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And the
situation with Brian Flores, maybe the lawsuit, possibly has some impact on this hiring cycle. What do you guys think, since a Black coach was named and a multiracial head coach was named? Are we seeing positive change already?
No.
Or just tokenism?
If they're doing it for the spirit and not just the letter, all that's going to show us. It's going to show up in time. Right now, it is a reactive public relations move based on the scrutiny that the NFL continues to be under when it comes to diversity in hiring of minorities in top leadership positions. So right now, it's going to look like that. Who cares what it looks like right now? We want to see what it looks like in 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fellas, we're going to take a break right quick. And then we come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the Pro Bowl and why everybody hated. And we're going to talk a little bit of playoffs. The Super Bowl is here. So we're going to be right back. You're listening to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
We're going to be talking about health and fitness. And anytime we talk about health and fitness, we are talking about our lives. Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo isn't just for the ones already working out. In fact, if you come to the expo, you don't have to work out at all. That isn't the point of the expo. Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo is to provide access. Now, if you want to work out, you'll definitely have access to a wide variety of workout sessions. The trainer lineup is ridiculous. We even have Cleveland's own Billy Whedon offering the high energy cardio class Charged Up. Then you got cardio boxing with Jordan, or you could stretch it out with Miss Lola with yoga, or you could step it on out with Ari and Hanson. Wait, hold on. I was just letting you know you have the option. But again, you do not have to work out just to attend the Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo. There's going to be so many great things going on, like a live hip-hop dance battle, along with other musical performances. It's going to be a silent option, great healthy food options, prizes, giveaways, and even celebrity access. But again, Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo is here to provide access to not only workout sessions, some dope entertainment, and some amazing healthy, tasty food, but you can also shop with the vendors. And if you haven't gotten your booster shot, you're welcome to get your vaccine and booster shot there, right at the Cleveland All-Star Fitness Expo. So you want to make sure you're at the First Energy Stadium 7-Up City Club. That's 100 Alfred Lerner Way, Cleveland, Ohio. Doors will open at 8 a.m. and the event from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's Saturday, February 19th. For ticket and event info, go to clevelandallstarfit.eventbrite.com. That's clevelandallstarfit.eventbrite.com. This message is brought to you by Union Home Mortgage. Make them know your name foundation, Voltage Training and Fitness Center, The Combination Challenge, and WOVU, a Burton Bell Park community radio station.
Welcome back to WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And remember, you can listen to us online at WOVU.org. You can download that WOVU app so you can listen to us at any time. All right. Now, I'm here with Marshawn Powers and Willie Epstein Jr., and we're going to talk about the Pro Bowl really quick. And fellas, what was up with the Pro Bowl? Why did everybody hate this Pro Bowl? I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was watching the Cleveland Cavaliers come back from behind. But what was the deal with the Pro Bowl? I hear all this complaining on my timelines.
I didn't watch the Pro Bowl, so I'm guessing this is Willie's segment. We're gonna let Willie give us 10 minutes.
I didn't watch it either, but I can tell you what happened.
I know Myles Garrett. I tell you this. Only thing I know is did Myles Garrett get a strip sack or something like that?
Yeah, pick six, right?
Yeah.
There were a combined 6 interceptions in this game.
Oh my gosh.
Russell Wilson threw 2, and whoever else. But it was ridiculous. And I think the fun part of the game, from what I saw, was when Trayvon Diggs went out as a wide receiver, and Stephon went out as a DB, and he guarded him. And I don't know who the quarterback was for the NFC at that point. It may have been Russell Wilson, but anyway, they tried to throw it like a little back shoulder in the end zone, and Trayvon Diggs could have been called for offensive pass interference.
Oh wow!
I heard you couldn't tackle either.
I mean,
people wasn't tackling.
It's a joke. It is a joke. They may as well just put all 53 players in 53 different rooms on each side and just let them play Madden for the Pro Bowl title or whatever.
Well, do y'all think it will be better? Because then it used to be more competitive back in the day when they played after the Super Bowl. Didn't they always play after the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it was always played the Sunday after the Super Bowl week, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's better.
If they went back to that.
Yeah, because then you would stop having these jokes of a player make the Pro Bowl, like Russell Wilson. Like why did he make the Pro Bowl? Why did Mac Jones make the Pro Bowl? Like that's jokes, man. Like they don't deserve to make a Pro Bowl. If you put Russell Wilson in there, then as bad as the year Baker had, Baker should have been in there. I think that's a joke to put Russell Wilson in there as quarterback. Man.
Russell Wilson,
what did Russell Wilson do to award to get in there?
Russell Wilson did complete 65% of his passes. He did throw for 3,300 yards. He did have 25 touchdowns, only 6 picks. I mean, he did do that.
And he was missing time too.
And he missed time. But y'all's boy missed time too.
Exactly. You don't get awarded for missing time, and you should not be there. I feel like out of the NFC, you should have had somebody more like, I don't know.
I don't even know if
What are you talking about missed time? Chubb?
I would have put like Dak out there or somebody, not him.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't even know if Dak was. I don't even know if he was even selected. Now, if you look at it from the standpoint of who really should have been there, I would say it should have been Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and they usually have a third quarterback from each squad. So I would probably say Matthew Stafford, but of course he's in the Super Bowl, so he wouldn't have played anyway, unless it's after the Super Bowl.
That would have been cool if Tom Brady did play in a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, his last game. Yeah, I would like to see that.
It was a cakewalk. He could have did that.
You know, Mac Jones.
I don't think he fully retired, man. By the way,
Mac Jones has more touchdowns in the Pro Bowl than Tom Brady does.
Oh my God, that's a stat for all stats.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The Pro Bowl sucked, man. It was
terrible. So, fellas, it's the Super Bowl this weekend. Do you guys have plans already?
It is. I thought it
was.
It is.
I'm watching it.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be with no crowd. I'm gonna be at the crib.
Yeah, you've learned your lesson, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm staying away from people until All-Star weekend. I can't afford to be around people.
Yeah, so I was supposed to be watching it at home, enjoying myself. No parties or anything like that. But let's, talk really quickly because we only got a few minutes left about how these teams made it. And I want to hold off on predictions till Wednesday. But how these teams made it. First, let me ask you: do you think the NFL will change the overtime rules?
No,
and nor should they.
Why not? They absolutely should.
Why?
Because Buffalo should have had another possession to win the game. The game shouldn't have ended like that.
But that's Buffalo's fault. It was Buffalo's fault that the game even went in overtime to begin with.
Okay, that's fair. Their defense was an issue and problematic because I thought they had that game won twice. And if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about the game, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills just made you think that they were going to win this game. They were going to knock the Chiefs off, and the Chiefs weren't going to be able to make it to their third straight appearance to the Super Bowl.
It just goes to show you that a team that has 13 seconds left can put themselves in a position to win a game, but a team with 14 seconds left is going to fall flat on their face.
Yeah, you got to have a quarterback too, man, to do that.
I think it's going to be a pretty good Super Bowl. I mean, you got the Rams aren't really good. I mean, the Rams are good at defending the pass, but they aren't the strongest at defending the pass. You know what I mean? Unless you're going to put Ramsey on Jamar Chase the whole game, then, you leaving 85 and you leaving T. Higgins and my other guy, I can't think of his name, Tyler Boyd open to just assassinate. So I think it's going to be a good game, but, it's going to mean the Rams run game is going to be really, really, really the predicting point of that game. I think if the Rams can get that ground game going, it's going to be fun. OBJ.
Speaking of OBJ, just came through on Bleacher Report. Jarvis Landry hopped on a call during media availability during OBJ's media availability.
Jarvis is teed up.
Congratulate him and stuff like that. I love their friendship. One time they did a joint press conference, and I'm like, this was before the joint press conferences were like a popular thing. This was when we still had locker room access, and they just stood there together talking. And I'm like, if you don't have friendship goals like the two of them, I don't want to hear anything. I just love their friendship and how he is cheering them on, even though they left the Cleveland Browns. And you can tell it took a toll on him because, pretty much he never spoke to the media after that. He spoke at his turkey giveaway, but pretty much he had nothing to say.
I wouldn't have anything to say either. I feel like, at the end of the day, I don't think Jarvis wanted to get traded. They traded him, and Willie got his mouth covered like he knows some. He got some juice.
I just saw something crazy.
What?
I'm going to have y'all on the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show to talk about this. Major League Baseball is stopping steroid testing after 20 years.
Well, ain't nobody really been getting popped like that anymore, right?
But that is so much fuel for these reporters who are considering themselves as the moral police when it comes to Roger Clemens and all the other guys that they have left out. So now, they did this. They're done. They can't get into the Hall of Fame. This was it for them. For Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Kurt Schilling. None of them got to 75% of the vote, and this was their 10th year on the ballot. So they're
what about Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa?
Can't they still go in as, what do they call that?
The players.
Yeah, but I don't know how, if that's the case. Well, I think that the fact that they can't get in, or the fact that they're not being termed as Hall of Famers, is more of an indictment on the process rather than on them themselves. Because if Major League Baseball, I just saw this from Bleacher Report, guys. I mean, if this is accurate, okay, if this is accurate, what is that going to do going forward in terms of the whole steroid era? What is that going to do? I mean, what is that? How are you going to keep those guys? So now we fix to start seeing, people like Brady Anderson hit 50 home runs in one season, and then 2 years later, he's out of the league.
So the juice is about to be loose.
The juice is about to be loose, man. I'm going to see if I can find this, because that's a little crazy to me.
I probably juice.
Yeah, and it warrants the question, would you do it?
Probably so. Anything to win. Play to win.
Well,
of course,
let's hope Stephen Ross is not in charge of that.
And who?
Stephen Ross. The Miami Dolphins owner. And he ain't playing to win.
Yeah. Man.
Well,
but that's pretty much our time, fellas. How did it feel to be back?
Amazing.
I don't feel like being called no guest.
We had to talk about that offline.
Okay.
But you are family. I appreciate you. I appreciate both of you. And we'll be back again tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more football. We'll talk a little bit more about the playoffs and wrap up the season. And then on Wednesday, we're going to be talking Super Bowl.
Yeah. Can't wait.
All right. Peace, Marshawn. Peace, Willie. And you've been listening to Her and Ho on WOVU and 95.9 FM. We